Good day, everybody. My name is Ivan Siler, and welcome to another installment of Brother Ivan. Today is a God Talk. It is concerned with spiritual things, Judeo-Christian practice, and faith. And today I want to, the name of this little talk is called Simon Says. Simon Says. And I gave it a simple title like that so you could make it a lot easier to understand. In one of my earlier videos, I discussed the idea in my video called KISS, or an acronym for Keep It Simple, Stupid. For the Christian, we tend to load ourselves up with a whole bunch of illegitimate burdens, things we should be doing because we think that will please God or give us better standing, or it just seems like the Christian thing to do. And I unpacked the idea that really all we have to be concerned with is following Christ. When Jesus called his disciples, if you survey the Gospels, it's really funny because it seems like he walks up to somebody, he looks them in the eye and he says, "Follow me," turns around and walks off. He doesn't ask them about their spiritual pedigree, their church attendance, their salvation story, or anything like that. It's just a simple, open invitation, follow me. And as I've been discussing this idea and trying to strip down Christianity, make it simple so practically anybody can do it, I've had a little bit of pushback about what does follow me mean. And what follow me, maybe it's a language problem. When we say follow me, we might envision the idea of, well, here, I'm going to walk down this path and I want you to walk right behind me. I don't think that's what it means at all. I think what it actually means is do what I do, say what I say. And so maybe for dummies like me, it would probably be easier for me to say, hey, you know how to play Simon Says? Well, we're going to do that with Jesus. So instead of Simon Says, it's Jesus Says, or actually Jesus Does. And so I want to talk about this from a different perspective. This weekend, I was invited to a Boy Scout Eagle ceremony. I don't know about if you're familiar with the Boy Scouts of America. It's been an organization for 100 years that its main purpose has been to channel young men's energy into becoming good citizens and becoming other-centered. In other words, putting others' interests ahead of yourself, which is contrary to our human nature. We tend to only think about what's good for us, not what's good for those around us. And this guy, he did my yard for about 2 or 3 or 4 years. I don't know how long he'd been doing it for me. Super kid, smart. He started his own business. He's getting ready to graduate from high school, and he just got his Eagle Award. He invited us to the ceremony, and it reminded me of about a 6-year period that I spent in the Boy Scouts as a leader and a pseudo-chaplain. You imagine me as a chaplain in the Boy Scouts. Anyway, a pseudo-chaplain with my sons, the Liven and Eli. And I spent about 6 years in there. I was never a scout. I was a Sea Scout for, I don't know, maybe 3 months. I was a Cub Scout for a little while. We moved around a lot, so I was never into scouting as a child. But as an adult, I grew to appreciate the Scout method, the Scout values, and their strategy for putting good character into young men. And I was so impressed with that, I became kind of the chaplain. And I would do kind of a spiritual talk at the beginning of some of the meetings. And I really kind of fell in love with the whole idea because I was so impressed that here's a relatively secular organization that is concerned about behavior and making good citizens. One of the areas I think the church, at least in America, has really fallen short on. So I wanted to just kind of highlight a couple of things. As I watched the ceremony progress yesterday, they read something from the Boy Scout Handbook, which is sort of the Boy Scout Bible, if you will. It has all the information. But they read something from, they called the Scout Law. And it's a law that at the very beginning of the meetings, we would repeat the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag for the United States of America. And then we would repeat the Scout Law. And it really is this. The Scout Law says a scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. And I was so impacted by these. As one of the young scout leaders read the meaning of these, I wanted to kind of high point some of these. if you'll just bear with me for a moment. A scout is trustworthy. A scout tells the truth. He is honest, and he keeps his promises. People can depend on him. That's what being trustworthy means. Loyal. A scout is loyal. A scout is true to his family, friends, scout leaders, school, and nation. That's what loyalty is. A scout is helpful. A scout cares about other people. He willingly volunteers to help others without expecting payment or reward. That's kind of unusual. We live in a pretty narcissistic society where everything kind of revolves around me. But the idea of being helpful, just for the sake of being helpful, to be a good citizen, is kind of a lost art, I think. And the idea of doing it without payment or reward. You just be helpful for free, just because it's the right thing to do. What about that? A scout is friendly. A scout is a friend to all. He is a brother to other scouts. He offers his friendship to people of all races and nations and respects them even if their beliefs and customs are different from his own. A scout is courteous. A scout is polite to everyone regardless of age or position. A scout knows that using good manners makes it easier for people to get along. Boy, that would be refreshing, wouldn't it? A scout is kind. A scout knows there is strength in being gentle. He treats others as he wants to be treated, without good reason. He does not harm or kill any living thing. A scout is obedient. A scout follows the rules of his family, school, and troop. He obeys the laws of his community and country. If he thinks these rules and laws are unfair, he tries to have them changed in an orderly manner rather than disobeying them. A scout is cheerful. A scout looks for the bright side of life. He cheerfully does tasks that come his way. He tries to make others happy. Imagine that being a goal in life, of trying to make the people around you happy. A scout is thrifty. A scout works to pay his way and to help others. He saves for the future. He protects and conserves natural resources. He carefully uses time and property. A scout is brave. A scout can face danger, although he is afraid. He has the courage to stand for what he thinks is right, even if others laugh at him or threaten him. I know that was one of the peer pressure problems that my kids had in school, and I think probably every Boy Scout has that problem. Well, he's just being a Boy Scout. It's like it's some sort of disease or a problem. But the idea of being brave, standing up for what's right, even if others laugh at him or threaten him, being willing to do the right thing, even though it's unpopular. A scout is clean. He keeps his body and mind fit. He chooses the company of those who live by high standards. He helps his home and community keep his home and community clean. And last of all, a scout is reverent. A scout is reverent toward God. He is faithful in his religious duties. He respects the beliefs of others. I was kind of reading through these things, and I'm saying to myself, what has happened to the United States of America in the last 10 years that has made it such a hostile place to be? I enjoy Facebook. I get on there a lot. You might even be seeing this through a Facebook link. But one thing everybody can agree to is that Facebook is a hostile place because people are mean and unkind and start arguments because of political ideology, differences, hurt feelings, general selfishness, intolerance of other people's position or point of view. What a terrible tragedy that is befallen our country, especially after the last toxic election. I have never seen a situation where such hatred and vitriol has been spewed on the internet, which ought to be a tool for good. But the unkindness and the disrespect for individuals around you, sure, I put some funny things up there that kind of poke the bear a little bit. I watch politics all the time, and I'm concerned about the future of our country. But when I see the way people behave, if they were face-to-face, they would never behave like this. But I call it Facebook courage. When you're at a computer and you're plunking down little things. You say, well, I'm gonna push a few buttons and see if I can get a rise out of that person. And the taunting and the aggravation and the anger and the terrible nature of humans and the way we treat each other on the internet. Do you suspect they'll treat you any different in person? I know people that I thought were very reasonable and great citizens, but they get on the internet and it's like they take a stupid pill or something and they just go crazy. So anyway, that's kind of my rant for the day, but I wanted to kind of bring it back to, it's because this is a God talk. God's intention for us is to conform us into the image of Christ. If Jesus Christ, Jesus of Nazareth, was here in America in 2021, I suspect he might be a Boy Scout because he would put other people's interests ahead of his own. And he would be doing the things that the Scout law suggests. I think he would be trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. That kind of sounds like Jesus. If Jesus was here, wouldn't you kind of expect him to do those things? So my challenge to my fellow Judeo-Christian believers is maybe you should take a chapter out of the Boy Scout manual and think about those 12 attributes, those character traits that probably God is trying to work into you. I know it's not scriptural, but it's practical. And if you understand the love God has for us and for creation and for our present circumstance in America, none of those things are going to hurt anything. It might cost you a little bit of inconvenience and you won't be getting your way maybe, but it'll make it a whole lot better for everybody else around you. I was so proud to see this young man get his Eagle Award yesterday, and he wanted to quit. About a year ago, he was like, "Oh man, I got my car and I'm starting my business and I got a girlfriend." And we call it in Boy Scouts when they get to 16, 17 years old, we say there's two fumes that take a scout off track. It's car fumes and perfumes. And those are the two things that distract us, which is, I guess, freedom and women, and both great distractions. But as we try to make our world better here in post-COVID-19 America in 2021, with as many pitfalls and obstacles we have for right relationships with each other, let's think about being a Boy Scout for a change, putting others' interests first. And then ask ourselves the question, if you're a Christian, or if you think you're a Christian, is this the way Jesus would want to behave? I think you would. In fact, I think if everybody behaved like that, this would be a pretty great place to live. Can you imagine the world if everybody's primary focus was to make life good for you? I think I'd kind of like to live there. What do you think? Hey, have a good week. I'll talk to you guys later. See you next time. Bye.